And just to inform you that one speaker will have his presentation in French. So if you need any technical support, instead, please. Dr. Tarfa, if you would like to join and sit to the podium, Mr. Tolber, Mr. Erman, and no one needs the support for French? Is there? If you can raise the hands, we can give you. Okay. Someone else? Okay. Please, pay attention. Yes. Do you need as well? Who else? Fine.
J'ai beau retour aux médias sociaux et tout ça. C'est toi, hein?
Essaye.
Tu l'as?
C'est ok. Now they are coming. They are fitting that they will give you in a few seconds. Viewers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, keep your hands. So everybody. Keep your hands because still 4 missing. So a few seconds, just some logistic things, and then we will be ready to start this amazing journey through this waste opportunity from Africa. So how we can transform an environmental problem into business opportunity? Someone else? No hands? Fixed? So thanks a lot once more to be here. Sorry for the shoulder. And I would really be glad to introduce Mr. Nicola Di Pietrantonio, head of DERTO, not yet, but in the process of becoming. That's a good luck.
Thank you very much, Monica. Sorry, I'm not the head of my directorate channel yet, probably still too young. As I said, it will be room in the future. First of all, thank you very much and welcome everybody to this side event organized by the Global Climate Change Alliance. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nicola Di Pietrantonio. I'm the Deputy Head of the Climate Change Center in the Directorate General for International Development and Cooperation of the European Commission. It's a more extremely long title, written very time, but no worries, we go through that. But first of all, on behalf of the EU, allow me to welcome you as guests and speakers who came from Africa to take part in this side event on waste management organized by the GCCA Plus. As you may know, the Global Climate Change Alliance is a new funded flagship initiative that was established in 2008. And to date, the main focus of this event, of this initiative, has been to help, especially least developed countries and small island development states, to adapt to the effects of climate change and to help build resilience and adaptive capacities. As you may know, the initiative has been structured in 2 phases. The first one, running from the establishment in 2008 until 2015, had as a main objective one to work mainly on adaptation, and of course to help countries place themselves in a broader climate change adaptation context at global level. In 2015, with the adoption of the Paris Agreement, things have changed a bit. We started giving a different approach to this, and we decided to give more attention also to the mitigation aspects of climate change. Why do I say so? You will tell me that countries coming from the least developed countries group or the small island development states are among the ones who have contributed the least to the effect of climate change. That's absolutely right. At the same time, at the Commission, we believe that supporting countries in addressing the mitigation aspects can help them set already a sustainable development path, which is extremely helpful for the future. On top of this, one of the main points I have to say is that pursuing mitigation can also help produce socio-economic benefits. They can, of course, help countries and their populations to, let's say, to embark on a more sustainable development path. From my point of view, a few figures. The GCCA Plus, so the Global Climate Change Alliance, is possibly the biggest tool for the EU to assist partner countries to adapt and build resilience when it comes to climate change. Just a few figures, and the idea is between 2008 and 2020 to reach a total financing of 750 million euros, which is quite a lot for this kind of initiatives, and to increase the amount of countries and that we are supported up to 80, especially when it comes to the to support the preparation of programs and actions that are consistent with the Paris Agreement. Now, we're talking today about a side event which is mainly focusing on waste management in Africa. That's one of the actions that we are sponsoring and implementing in what we call the ACP region, the African, Caribbean and Pacific region. We're pretty pleased to see that the results are there, and we will hear soon from our speakers about the results and the steps forward that have been made. At the same time, the interesting point that we'll explore today is that the waste management, especially from the climate change point of view, is a sort of particularly underexplored area in Africa, and I'm very glad that the GCCA Plus is addressing this specific topic. From our point of view, there's been a research which has been made before. Of course, Africa is undergoing big socio-economic changes. The trend is about the progressive urbanization in Africa, population growth, change in the way people in Africa buy and consume, of course. And we all know that this is an impact in terms of waste production and waste management as a next step. Indeed, we're here to learn a bit more about how such challenges have been addressed in a number of national and local contexts. And we'll hear soon from our guest about the success story. At the same time, I think that it is very important for us to learn more from what the experience has been at local level, because the main approach for us is to try and scale up such lessons at a national level so that we can inform the national waste management policies and design the incentives that have to be prepared for making it work. Needless to say, the lessons we are drawing will also help shaping the future financial assistance that the EU can provide in the context of its external action. You may know that there is a lot of talk at the moment, there are negotiations at the moment ongoing within the European Union regarding the future external financing instrument. So this instrument will be different in nature compared to what we have now. There will be a stronger drive for what we call the geographical pillar of such instrument. What does it mean? It means that there will be a lot more work, a lot more resources to be channeled through the bilateral cooperation and the regional cooperation. So in the future you'll have to address more and more the EU delegations in the partner countries to try and design solid policies in the various areas, including waste management. Now allow me to say just a few words before I leave the floor to the speakers. I think the work that has been done has to be extremely acknowledged, because in many cases what is being done by colleagues in the field is done in a context of scarcity of resources most of the times, in a complex socio-political situation. We're talking about also capacity gaps in many cases, and all of these have to be addressed and overcome to make the waste management sector climate friendly and possibly deliver the expected results. Now, as you know, the EU believes very much in the value of bringing people working for the floor here to showcase the events, because we think very much that listening from their own voice about what is being done, can help find solutions to the problems, and then create the network needed for stepping forward. As a very last point, before I close and give the floor to the speakers, let me thank the NDC partnership for setting up this pavilion in an extremely short period of time. It has been only a month since the change of venue. And also for the great work they've been doing in the field for strengthening the nationally determined contributions of the different countries and build the alliances between not only the governments, but also the donors who are there to support such an implementation. It is very important that donor coordination happens in the countries, and the NDC partnership is playing a very good role in this sense. I would like to thank you very much. I will be here with you for the next half an hour. Unfortunately, the negotiation rooms are opening and closing all the time, so I may not be able to stay with you all the time, but thank you very much for being here, and I would like to give the floor to our guests. Thank you.
Sorry? Thanks a lot, Mr. Nicola. It was a real pleasure to have you here to open this exciting event. And, you know, I would like to say just a very, very few words before giving the floor to our speaker. What it will be presented today is not only a national program, it's even a local program. And how, at national level, three different states are coping with this challenge, but at the same time, how they are interacting with the local municipality. Because what makes the difference in this waste world, and to transform again a waste into a real business opportunity, is the interaction between all the actors working on waste, a proper and methodological interaction. Thanks to the climate tools that are available, the MRV for waste is one of the tools allowing to the national government to deal with all the stakeholders, municipality, private NGOs, and communities. So that's why it's really pivotal to listen how Nigeria, Liberia, and Benin try to manage to cope with this. I would like now to give the floor to Dr. Peter Tarfa, who is working in the Ministry of Environment of Nigeria, is the negotiator for Nigeria, and in Nigeria, GCCA Plus as a program exactly tailored waste management at national level, at federal level, at Abuja level, and in two municipalities, Ogun and Kano. So I would like to give the floor, and thanks once more, Dr. Tafa, for being here despite he's in all the table of the negotiation. Thanks a lot, Dr. Tafa.
Thank you. Maybe let me just come here. Thank you, Monica, for the opportunity. And good morning, dear colleagues, for the opportunity to represent Nigeria on this very topical issue. I will start by contextualizing within the short period that the moderator has given us to contextualize the Nigerian geography, which we all know that Nigeria has the largest population in Africa. Also from 2012, it became the biggest economy on the continent. This certainly has a lot of implications in the area of waste generation. So, arising from that, it has now become very central that waste sector has to be integrated into our NDC as we go forward in revising. I try to highlight, maybe if you can just to give a framework and numbers, which is just the basis for the challenge to cope with. First, like I said, is the most populous nation in Africa, with a population which is now hovering around 201 million people, of whom about 44% are under 15 years of age. So certainly, if you need to get a solution to tackling waste, we have to factor in utilization of this able population of 44%. And also, the municipal council, it is their responsibility to handle waste, but it consumes about 20 to 50% of their budget goes into management of waste. And then waste is also a cause for all, and at the same time, a severe environmental and health problem. Even individuals, in handling your waste in your respective homes, it also has some cost implications as well as health implications. This is just a typical location in Lagos. You can see the quantum of waste that is being generated. I don't know if my panelists are able to see, or you would prefer to sit here to see and then thereafter you come back. These are the facts on the generation of waste. We don't have accurate data because this is supposed to be generated apart from the municipal area councils. Some state governments have also put in place waste management agencies. So there must be capacity to be able to quantify this waste for the purpose of effective management. Also in the classification and the composition, we also don't have accurate data around that because all our waste are lumped together inside one complete basket. It is not sorted the way that is the best practice that we see in the developed world. The waste are collected by contractors or the informal sector. It has to be organized. That sector has to be regulated to bring in experts that know how to really sort out this problem. It's not an all-comer job whereby individual will just wake up in a day and say, I want to go into waste collection and disposal. It has to be regulated. Also, the dump sites, we all know in most African cities, not only in Nigeria, I've been privileged to travel around, and I saw also on our streets, we dump a lot of our waste. There's no engineering design where this waste should be disposed. We also have a lot of illegal waste dumps which are used for the disposal. Maybe some borrow pits, construction site pits that are set aside. Individuals will start heaping their waste into it. That should not be how it should be because it will percolate and then also pollute the underground water. The resource recovery by informal sector, the coverage must be in cities and urban areas. So in the rural areas where there's massive population too, there's no organized way of disposing of this waste. Why is it so? Because most of the waste actually in the rural areas are organic waste, which are now used as manures from respective farms. The waste power generation plants, there's none. Lagos have tried to put in place, but eventually it didn't succeed. Why didn't it succeed? Because there are some issues that mitigated against its success, of which there's a need to revisit that. Next slide. So these are just typical door-to-door collections. You can see how it is collected. So everything goes into the truck for it to go and disposed, sometimes in borrow pits, not in an engineered landfill. There's station collections, which is the second one that is shown there. There's a lot of the illegal dumps, as you can see over here. And that is an official dump site where there's a gate, but certainly it is not just fencing the area that is the approach towards handling waste. There must be a scientific way of sorting out this waste and properly disposing it. Next. This is Lagos State Environmental Sanitation Corps. You can see this van is now being used to collect the waste, and God knows where it is disposed. Now, how did the GCCA, the Global Climate Change Alliance, is helping Nigeria to cope with this West? In 2012 or thereabout, we went into partnership with this organization to develop a proposal or a program or a project which will help to quantify the waste and to adequately manage it, and to also generate data of the waste, the greenhouse gases that is being emitted from the various waste. However, you know that Nigeria, the landmass is really wide, and the resources earmarked for this project cannot go and cover the whole country at a go. So we decided to pick two cities as pilot, Kano and in Ogun State, just to try to compare. You know that in the northern parts, the kind of waste is slightly different with the waste that is generated also in the southern part of the country. So these are two cities that we are embarking on as pilot. Up to 8 million euro has been earmarked for this project. But not only looking at the waste alone, but also quantification of the emission reduction so that we'll be able to meet the NDC target. So it is going to invest in data quality and data management to attract private sector and international donors. Good quality is the first step to manage waste problem through proper tailored solutions. So if there are individuals here that are working in government or in municipal area councils, certainly this is an area. And I want us to take advantage also of the teeming population, like I said, about 15 or 40% of the population are under 15 years of age. How do we make waste collection attractive to become a business venture? Because we know in our cities back home, the individuals that push these trucks to collect the waste are mainly uneducated people. How do we make that sector attractive so that our youth that have gone to school can go into that business and tune it to become a scientifically focused business? Nigeria's waste management program is being seen through the lens of new business opportunities to invest in and to attract possible international investors. The resources is outside there. A lot of individuals are interested, organizations are interested in investing, especially if you will be able to link it up to the Sustainable Development Goals. Apart from Goal 13, there are several other goals that are related to this aspect of waste management. You will end poverty, you will eradicate poverty. Gender consideration is also there. All they can be factored into this. The Global Climate Alliance support is focused on supporting the Federal Ministry of Environment to frame the problem, to establish precise baselines for the GHG emissions, and to develop enabling policy to catalyze new business opportunities so as to manage waste and generate emission reduction locally and nationally. So this is basically the focus of this particular program or project we are doing with these organizations. So we are inviting other entities or other states. Like I told you, the pilot is around Kano and Ogun State. But Lagos State, which is the largest generator of waste, can key into this to see the possibility of how it can be replicated. And then how do we get the international support and partnership around it? Our partners here are available to help us, to link us up with available resources, available technical ideas, available materials, infrastructure that we can use to handle waste. Waste collection is a focus area also for the UNFCCC. There's a lot of discussions going on now on how to generate hydrogen that will be used now to power new mobility like vehicles. So this is an area also where we should start thinking, and truly is very important to bring in knowledgeable people into this particular sector. I think I'm almost running on my 10 minutes. So this is just what I have to say with respect to what we are doing in conjunction with the GCCA, and to also indicate that there are opportunities there. And please, we are seeking for collaboration and partnership all across the sector to make Africa clean, to be able to quantify the emissions, which we believe if we do that, we will be able to meet the target under the NDC and the Paris Agreement as well. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Zarfan. It was a great explanation of how Nigeria is committed in working with waste at national level and at local level. What I want to point out are some very few words you said. Capacity of quantifying waste. Why? Because if you know how the quantity of your waste, then you can produce business. If you do not know how you can transform the problem into business opportunity, and how, he said something great. He said, data collection, baseline. You should know where you have to start with. Your baseline allows you to understand what you can reach in the future. And other two things he said that are worthy mentioning here. Waste is a part of your NDC in several states, and waste is a problem in Africa. Sometimes it's underestimated because it's very hard to measure, and because it's considered mainly as an environmental problem that you have to cope with. No more. It's environment, it's social, but it's something that can give you the opportunity to create business, to create private market, and to, as he said, to reduce the informal activities going around this. So, another thing he said, waste is a way to help eradicating poverty. And waste is what UNFCCC is working on. So that's why I really appreciate your few words that maybe at the end of this presentation we can have a few minutes of debates with you if you are interested, and if you have different challenges to point out with us, and if you wish to have additional information from GCCA, we are here. So in the meantime, while you are thinking, if you are coping with the same challenges or some other you would like to share with us, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Tolbert from Liberia, who will give the perspective of a municipality, but a municipality that is already involved in the NDC. Because in Liberia, where there is another GCCA Plus project, Monrovia municipality is supporting the Ministry of Environment in fixing and giving accuracy to GHG data. Thanks, Mr. Tolbert. I give you the floor.
Thank you very much, Monica, and let me say thank you to all of us who are our speakers. I want to say thank you and welcome to all of us. I am Tolbert Tekula. I'm from Liberia. I'm pleased to make a presentation of an overview of solid waste situation in Liberia. Thank you very much. Monrovia is Liberia's capital. It has a population of about 500,000, and waste situation in Liberia is being provided in not just Monrovia but in adjacent cities to include Beansville with a population of another 500,000, and then townships that are surrounding the two cities, Monrovia and Beansville. They are surrounded by townships that also has a population of about 400,000. So I'm presenting a waste situation to cut across about 1.4 million people. What you see there is the map of Monrovia is a seacoast city, an urban city that is growing very fast. And what you see on the right is the President of the Republic of Liberia. Korea that is so much committed to transforming waste situation in Liberia. But the challenge remains, as that said, resources, capacity, and what we can do as a business, what we can do to enhance or transform by engaging the actors that are involved with solid waste, the municipal, the contractors, the private, and all of the municipal public actors as a way of transforming solid waste and gaining much more globally. So I'm going to say to you on the next slide, the collection system in Monrovia is more like structure a bit because we have benefited from a lot of assistance from our partners. We have been able to organize a system that is accounting for waste collection and disposal. We have household waste being collected at the primary level at designated points. And these collection points are established that allow the city and the contractor to go in at time schedule to collect waste and dispose at a transfer station. A transfer station for us is that place that is designed to temporarily hold the waste until it can be transported to the landfill for permanent disposal. What you see at the left, at the right, sorry, is a transfer station that is overly charged. It should be like, waste shouldn't be staying more than 24 hours. But again, because of the challenge, you have waste staying like 2-3 weeks. And sometimes it's because of the limited capacity of not just our contractors, but also our municipal government or even central government as a result of limited funding. So waste are kept at the transfer station and later move on to the landfill site for permanent disposal through collection equipment like skip trucks, wheelbarrow from the house to the collection point, and then to the transfer station to the landfill through table truck, huge collection truck. So the collection system is designed to allow waste on the household to come in at collection point, and then from the household, it is we have transfer station, skip locations in the community where waste from the household are brought, and then contractors will collect from the skip location to the transfer station, and then from the transfer station to the landfill and for final disposal. But what I would also want to highlight are the challenges associated with doing so in Monrovia and its surrounding. One of those challenges is the limited budgetary allotment to the cities. We have very limited as a result of the economic situation, and not many of our African government or economy are very vibrant enough to provide much more for effective waste collection and disposal. At this point in the 2019-2020 budget, 750,000 is allotted for waste collection and disposal. You may want to agree with me that that is very limited to ensure effective waste collection and disposal. Let's talk about proper waste management. To run a transfer station, to run collection equipment, to manage the landfill properly and ensure covering and all of that, 750,000 is like a minimum for annual waste collection and disposal for a city of about 1.5 billion. So budgetary constraint is a challenge, and logistically the cities are also challenged because if you have 750,000 being dispersed for annual waste collection, we want to see what the logistics are. There will definitely be challenges with equipment, salaries, and the rest of it, fuel costs, and the rest of it. So there's challenge with logistics as a result of the limited resources. There's also the issue of regulations to guide the city to ensure that waste collection or waste management is effective. In Monrovia, we don't have laws, we don't have regulations on the book that can account for proper waste collection and disposal. I cannot tell you where waste is being segregated, except for a few areas, and I cannot tell you if you did not subscribe to any waste collection what is it there to even kind of bring you to board. There is no polluter pay principle. There is no regulations in place to ensure effective waste collection and disposal. So regulation is another issue that is affecting the sector, and there's a need that private actors kind of step in and support much more to ensure that there are legislators and there are much more private participation in the effective management of solid waste, so as to prevent some of the issues we have around, especially when we talk about global issues. We also have the institutional capacity that I talked about. Is actually a big challenge. Waste sector is not very much an attractive sector to a lot more skillful people because of the very limited attention. Like you can see annual budget, you can see constraint in terms of logistics, you can see poor legislations and all of that. So you don't have what you have in other parts of the world, in developed countries, to be a lot of capacity, a lot of skillful people, educated well, polished to do what is necessary to improve or transform the sector. So institutional challenge is one aspect that is of concern if we were to transform the sector. We also have the issue of the sector being largely dependent on donors, which is not sustainable, which is not the way to go, because to be able to transform this sector, we need to be sure that it is what we can engage as private participation and engage municipal government as an actor together to transform. So it shouldn't be depending on donors. But there are gains, including the management of the transfer station, the management of the landfill, and now we are looking at the construction of a new landfill where government has bought like 100 acres of land to be considered as a regional disposal site. And what we have at the moment is a sanitary landfill, and at that site it's going to be much more sanitary in terms of engineering when we talk about landfill construction in the next 2 years. We also have this issue of collection equipment. Donors have been very helpful in providing collection equipment to the cities to enhance their capacity and allow them to provide much more quality services. And we have been engaged with local communities, the community dwellers, to engage them into what I would want to refer to as participation. We feel that this is the way to transform the sector, by ensuring that waste generators are also engaged into making sure that waste transformation is achieved. So there are agreement redress mechanisms, there are structures in place to allow us to achieve proper waste collection and disposal, as well build a much more effective solid waste management system. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Tolbert. It was very interesting. And even this time I have a few words I want to point out from your presentation. Because what did emerge? We said waste is a problem. But if it's a problem, you realize that there is not a legislation. How you can cope with a problem if there is not a legislation? So no data. It emerged from Nigeria. Then is not rules. So if it's a problem, you know it's a problem, but it's not rules. Nigeria is working on this. Liberia is working on this. So it means that progressively this problem is not only tackled as an environmental problem, but something to be ruled, to be framed, and then to be included in the NDC through ad hoc actions. Then what I like is, if we have to rule, we need to provide capacity building. And what we point out is that there is institutional capacity, both national level and at governmental level. It's a challenge. So how we can reach and how we can scale up the commitment if there is not an institutional capacity building, both at national and local level. Then another thing that I appreciated, they have city equipment. So it means that at city level, they realize it's a challenge. And thanks to the donor support, they are trying to do their best to fill in this gap. And what they did, they worked with the local municipality, because I would be interested later on, if we have a few minutes, to discuss how you commit to work with the local municipality, because I believe that even in Kamilagu, the idea of local municipality working together to demonstrate that together we can solve a problem that is not national local, is a problem. Environment, sanitary, social. Link them and transform into business opportunity. So that's why maybe the presentation of Mr. Herman from Benin, who will point out the challenges of a local municipality, of a district of 9 different municipalities, on how they tackle this great team and this very intriguing thematic. It could be interesting. Thanks a lot. I'll give the floor to Mr. Herman. His presentation will be in French, so please, for those who need the equipment. Thanks a lot, Mr. Herman.
Bonjour à tous. Je viens présenter une situation, l'expérience de gestion des déchets dans le département du Sud au Bénin. Mais avant tout, le message que je voudrais porter, c'est que il faudrait que nous, en tant que municipalité, chaque fois que quand on commence par participer à ces genres de rencontres, qu'on ne garde plus le dialogue, le message selon lequel c'est seulement les pays développés qui sont émetteurs. Parce que quand nous produisons des déchets et quand on va vers la connaissance des types de déchets que nous produisons, nous constatons de plus en plus que nous aussi nous émettons, même si c'est à une certaine échelle moins grande. Et dans le zoo, notre département, ça fait 900 000 habitants environ. Et ça se situe au Bénin, en Afrique de l'Ouest. Et nous avons 9 municipalités. Mais la particularité ici, c'est que nous sommes à 70% de localités rurales, donc 30% d'urbanité. Mais quand même, nous produisons, quand on a évalué le tonnage de déchets que nous produisons jusqu'à 45 000 tonnes de déchets chaque année. Et dans ces 45 000 tonnes de déchets, on s'est aperçu qu'on a plus de 35% de matières utensile, donc qui sont émetteurs. Mais les autres qualités de déchets aussi mises ensemble, quand il faut les détruire, on va devoir déployer des émissions, on va devoir contribuer à émettre 13 kilotonnes d'équivalent CO2 de déchets, 13 kilotonnes d'équivalent CO2 comme émission à éviter si on arrivait à valoriser nos déchets plutôt qu'à envisager la solution d'aller les éliminer. À droite, c'est dans les milieux urbains, le système de collecte des déchets au niveau des ménages, ça se fait, mais seulement pour l'instant, on n'arrive à collecter que 15% de nos déchets. Et un peu plus en bas, ces déchets collectés sont regroupés et après, c'est canalisé vers des décharges. Là, un peu plus à gauche, vous allez voir, c'est un site de dépotoir sauvage, mais qui se situe au cœur d'une ville, de la plus grande ville de notre pays, de notre localité. Aujourd'hui, on a déjà détruit cela, mais quand même, c'est une source importante d'émissions de déchets. Plus en haut, c'est une décharge sauvage, non aménagée, et vous voyez toutes les conséquences que tout ceci engendre comme impact sur l'environnement, tout aussi bien l'émission des poussières, des odeurs, des gaz, et la destruction du paysage, et les lessivias qui polluent le sol, et les eaux usées qui affectent la ressource en eau. Je présente toutes ces problématiques, les défis que nous avons, même si nous sommes une ville de petite taille, c'est pour dire que 45 000 tonnes de déchets par an, c'est beaucoup. Et aussi, après avoir pris conscience que nous produisons des déchets, nous émettons des gaz à effet de serre, il faut aussi cesser de penser aussi que c'est seulement des déchets, il faut s'en débarrasser, On s'est aperçu que ces déchets-là sont des sources d'opportunités de business. Et pour s'en convaincre, nous avons pu caractériser nos déchets. On a eu une étude approfondie sur ces déchets qui nous ont permis de savoir qu'au niveau des végétaux, on a presque 25% de végétaux et des matières fines, on en a jusqu'à 23%. Ces deux types de déchets mis ensemble, l'expérience a été déjà faite. Si vous tapez centre Songhai au Bénin, vous allez voir, c'est le centre pilote qui a permis déjà de travailler sur l'ensemble de ces types de déchets. Et vous le savez, tout le monde le sait, qu'à partir des déchets putrescibles, on peut aller vers le compostage. Et on verra après tout ce qu'il y a derrière le compostage. Parce que quand on envisage la création, la mise en place d'un petit centre de traitement de valorisation des déchets qui produit seulement du compost et également des briques écologiques, on est arrivé avec un investissement de 60 000 euros à générer des ressources jusqu'à 84 000 euros tous les 2 ans. Donc, c'est un business qui marche. Et seulement à partir du compostage et à partir de la production des briquettes de bois. Quand on va plus loin, on s'aperçoit que nous avons presque 13% de sachets plastiques. Ces sachets plastiques, aujourd'hui, toujours au niveau du centre Songhai, sont transformés et on arrive à produire des seaux en plastique avec. Et les verres, quand ils ne sont pas cassés, on arrive donc à les revaloriser, à les réutiliser, donc à leur donner une deuxième vie. Donc les populations qui sont associées à la démarche revendent ces matières-là qui ne sont pas complètement gâtées. Le bois de charbon et également les tissus, les papiers en carton, quand vous les associez tous, quand on les réduit en poudre, c'est ces matières-là qui nous aident à fabriquer les briquettes de bois que vous voyez un peu à droite. Les cailloux et les pierres et tout ce qui est matière fine, on les réutilise pour fabriquer du pavé. Du pavé pour faire en sorte que tout ce qu'on fabrique et on utilise au niveau des pavages de nos localités, ça puisse coûter moins cher. Donc, quand vous voyez l'ensemble de la typologie, pour se convaincre que nos déchets sont capables de générer des ressources financières, il faut forcément que la première étape soit franchie, la caractérisation de nos déchets. Quand vous les caractérisez, quand vous connaissez la composition de vos déchets, vous savez ce que vous pouvez en faire. Le centre Songhai fonctionne et ça marche. Quand vous faites un tour au Bénin, vous pouvez faire un tour au centre Songhai pour vous convaincre de ce que nous sommes en train de parler. Et donc, chez nous, il va y avoir l'implémentation à partir de l'année prochaine de 3 centres de traitement et de valorisation des déchets sur la base de ce business plan que je viens de vous expliquer pour produire seulement déjà le compost au départ. Ce compost est à la fois utile pour l'agriculture parce qu'il y a eu des planches d'essai qui sont réalisées pour démontrer à nos producteurs la capacité, le potentiel de ce déchet-là, à les aider à enrichir leur sol. Parce qu'on a également des problèmes de dégradation de nos sols qui sont des problèmes importants. Et ce compost aussi, à partir de là, on arrive à produire les plants d'arbres. Et on arrive à en produire, à les transformer à avoir des semences de bonne qualité. Les plantes, quand elles sont produites avec ces genres de compost, on arrive à les mettre à disposition de nos municipalités pour qu'au niveau des journées de l'arbre, qu'il y ait une facilité à faire beaucoup plus d'activités de plantation d'arbres. Donc c'est dire que pour nos municipalités, il n'y a pas à avoir de crainte à faire en sorte que nos déchets désormais, on ne doit plus les considérer comme le poids. Il faut s'en débattre, il faut s'en débarrasser. Non. Là, nous avons seulement 20% de nos déchets qui vont à la décharge finale pour être détruits. Et quand on sait que pour détruire les 100% de nos déchets, on doit produire de l'énergie, on doit contribuer donc à émettre des gaz à effet de serre, il vaut mieux envisager des situations qui nous permettent de valoriser nos déchets, des situations qui puissent, à travers des acteurs économiques, puissent générer des ressources à nos municipalités. Avec ces ressources qui sont générées au niveau des composts, on envisage donc progressivement de mettre en place un fonds qui puisse permettre de financer nos acteurs locaux afin d'aller vers des actions climatiques. Donc, en même temps que nos déchets, pour finir, en même temps que nos déchets, nous arrivons à les exploiter pour pouvoir, quand on les détruit moins, on contribue à l'atténuation des gaz à effet de serre. En même temps, nous sommes capables d'en faire un facteur de sécurisation de nos objectifs au niveau des défis alimentaires de nos communautés. Je vous remercie.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Herman. It was a pleasure, and just a few words even from your presentation, because again, your approach is a little bit different from the previous one. Why? You said that first point, you stressed twice. You need to know, you need to characterize your waste in order to know how to cope with, in order to tackle with. So what they did at local level, they merged. 9 municipalities merged together. Those belonging to this district of Zoo, they worked together to cope with this problem. And what I like is another thing you said, c'est le business qui marche. That you realized that if you merge together, you have a problem. And despite this a very limited area of Benin, actually they are already working. And they have transformed. And what he said is, donner un deuxième vie. So he's already going forward. He said, we know that's a problem. We merged together. We did characterization of our waste, and we try to give a second life to what we have. Because this will help this municipality to guarantee la sécurité alimentaire. Or better, it will help. Again, what Dr. Talfa said is waste is a way to eradicate poverty. Is one of. Benin is working through pilot action in doing this. At the level of Monrovia, they are involving local community to give this sense of ownership of their activity, to be an active actors. So, if you have any questions for the speakers, it would be good to hear from you, because maybe the challenges